Bhagavatam now.
When this cow was brought?
When
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
When is born here or brought from somewhere?
They had it, she was about 6 years old. We acquired her because we were using the milk.
Okay. Oh.
And we were using the milk, so we acquired
So
her.
9 years old that is finally. 9
She's
years
about
old.
9.5.
Okay, thank you. So today we'll just miss the sloka out, we don't have time. And I think some devotees are also missing. Isn't it? What do you think? You tell me. I thought because this takes a lot of time and we are shortage of the time with this thing that went on and we'll just go with Srimad Bhagavatam. Is that okay?
Okay.
And I'm just giving you one chance. I'm not putting you in a spot today. So next week you have better knowledge of what you are supposed to memorize. So we have been describing about this Jambudvip, the island. We will sort of continue with this, and we are going to almost come to an end of completing 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam today, with one chapter left over, which is the description of the hellish planet. Because the topic right now is about Lord Ram, and it goes about the topic of the description of Shishumara planetary system, which is the description about the heavenly planets, and description about the Bali Maharaj and other personalities. So I did not want to bring a hell in between today, because the topic is like a big change, describing about the devotees of Krishna and talking about the heavenly planet is Indra, and bringing in the hellish planet was not a matchable topic, because hell is very hard topic. This is a very hard in a sense, when Sukadeva Goswami talks about the hellish planet, he condemns the people so much, and he says they deserve to suffer there. So in that condition, get ready to listen this hard topic of Sri Sukadeva Goswami, of what he has to say. When he talks about the hellish planet, he is not easy with anyone. He talks about everything. He talks right from the point of those people who kill another living entities and eat them, to the topic of those who are dishonest in a Grihastha ashram, and from the topic of cheating a family to having unright food, and from that to those devotees who don't dedicate themselves to the lotus feet of Krishna, he just condemns and curses them like anything. So I thought I would give you an easy time and not talk about that part today, and get ready with a broader heart next week. So if Sukadeva Goswami hits you with a ball of, like sometimes cricket ball in your heart, you can take it. So we'll talk about that. So we have been talking about the tract of land that is called the Bharatvarsh. As we have described that of all tracts of land, Bharatvarsh is the most auspicious tract of land. Why? What is the reason? As we have described, that Bharat Bhumi is known as the Bhumi of Karma Bhumi. Basically, you build yourself in Bharatvarsh. And in different tracts of land, Swarga is called the Bhog-Bhumi. And anything out of Ilavrata, according to Sri Sukadeva Goswami, says Chhid Bhumi, where you simply commit the sinful activities and draw yourself more towards the hellish condition. So according to him, that any expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that has ever come is circling around the Bharatvarsh only. Because everywhere in India or a Bharatvarsh that we talk, we are talking this from Himalayas to what we understand as today, Kazakhstan. So this is all part of Bharatvarsh. So from the point of Srimad Bhagavatam, and everything else later on was divided up. So right now what you see as a Pakistan, Afghanistan, so even in Pakistan, and you have a Patliputra. Where is Patliputra?
Patna.
Bihar, right?
Bihar.
No, Patna.
And you have other place that has been described as
Nalanda,
Nalanda is in
Pakistan.
Pakistan. So this is all part of the same rulership.
Yeah.
So now talking at a Bharatvarsh, it describes of the tract of land Where, from where to where? It says right from the Himalayas onward to what is Kazakhstan today. That is all part of Bharatvarsh. So whatever pastime it took place, like Lord Ram, when he traveled, he reached all the way to Kazakhstan in his exile, according to Srimad Bhagavatam. So it has been described that even the demigods in the heavenly planet, they admire. They say that the great devotees who have taken birth in Bharatvarsh are the most fortunate people in the planet. That no one is more fortunate. Sukadeva Goswami is saying is, no one is more fortunate to take birth in that tract of land where the Supreme Lord walked with bare leg. That it has been described that the land of Bharatvarsh is so pure that even the Lord wanted to have the touch of that earth directly by his feet. That I want to touch this earthly planet, known as a Bharatvarsh, with my own feet without wearing a shoes. So, you know the story of Lord Krishna. When Lord Krishna was out grazing the cows, again the pastime of the cows. So, Nanda Maharaj said that you are going so deep in the forest where there are a lot of rocks, there are a lot of pebbles to walk around, you are hurting yourself. Then he said, I am going to make a shoes for you, chappal. I am going to make a set of shoes you wear. So therefore Lord Krishna says, what is my name? He asked his Baba. Mon naam kya hai? Mon naam ki? So Nanda Maharaj says, Gopal. So what does Gopal means? One shoe is the servant of the cows. I am the servant of the cows. Then he said, is this a right logic? That a servant is wearing the shoes and master is walking bare leg. Is it the right logic? He asked his father. He says, cows are cows, they have hooves at the front. So he said, but still I am the Gopal. I am the servant of the cows. So I don't want you to make a shoes for me and you don't make anything for them. So he said, in one condition, that you make a shoes for every one of the cows that are here. And all the cows wear shoes, then I can also wear. So Krishna put a condition. So was it possible? You know what does Nanda means? Upananda means 7 lakhs. To have the name title called the Upananda, you have to have 7 lakhs of cows with you. And to be Nanda, you have to have 9 lakhs. So you get this title based on how many cows you have. So to be Nanda, you have to have 9 lakhs. So 9 lakhs of cows, each of the cows having a shoes is how many shoes?
36 lakhs.
Yeah. So any economical country of the world can have that many shoes? No. So Nanda Maharaj gave up. He said no. So when this discussion was going on, the cows were there, they are listening. The domestic animals, like there are animals that are meant to be forest, and there are animals that are supposed to be in your environment as a family. So the cows are hearing this discussion between Krishna and Nanda Maharaj. So when this discussion is going on about the cows not having a shoes, all the cows stopped eating a grass and their ears went straight up. And they're listening, what is this discussion going on here? There must be something about us here. So they are listening very carefully. So they heard that Krishna denied wearing shoes because they were not wearing anything. So everything speaks the language of love. Anyone can understand the language of love, isn't it? If anyone can not understand the language of love, then who are they? Either it's the dead body or it has to be a rock. It has to be non-moving living entities who don't understand the language of love. Does the dog understand the language of love?
Yes.
What about the cats?
Yes.
So there is one language that everyone can understand. Not everyone can understand English. Maybe not Gujarati also. Maybe not Hindi. But language of love anyone can understand. In any species of life. So the cows understood the language of love. So they said, today when we go to the jungle, so normally Nanda Maharaj, he would take the big cows and he would leave the small cows behind. So this day, even the mothers of those little cows would not go to the forest without taking the small babies, because they had a big mission today. And they, in a group, everyone is going today. Small calf or big calf, everyone is going to the forest. They thought that the Vrindavan, Krishna has sacrificed so much comfort for us. So at least today no one eats grass. No one is. So they planned that in Vrindavan they would run around so much today that every piece of stones and pebble is going to be turned into dust. So these little babies to big mothers, that day everyone jumped around. So they kicked this rock so much. Like, how do you see the sand in the ocean? How do you see that? Being hit by the water, it's basically, it's a pulp coming from the big rocks of the mountains, you see, basically. When it is hit by something, all the water is not hard. When you hit somebody with the water, is it hard? You don't hurt anybody with that. It's very soft. But when you do constantly hit something, it can actually grind things up. So logic behind that is, although cows may not have a hoof to hit the rock and break it, but the thing is, when you hit too many times, anything can be injured. Just like if you play around with banana, okay, you just take in your hand and very softly just keep on rolling in your hand. After some time the banana becomes black and it becomes all squashy also. You may not press very hard. So it has been described that that day none of the cows ate a grass. They were just jumping around. Everything in Vrindavan became dust. So even today, we know the story of Vrindavan dust. What is the name of Vrindavan dust? What do you say?
Brajabhumi,
No, the Brajabhumi is land.
go to
Ramad Reti, they call it.
Ramanreti.
Ramad Reti. Ramad is what? Raman basically means the dust of wonder. So this dust is meant for wandering. So if you go to Ramad Reti even today, the dust is like a butter. It is not a regular dust. You can sleep very nicely, no problem. So that's the special thing about the cow's service to Krishna. So, going back to our topic here, how did I get to that?
We are not talking about hell today, right?
Yes. So I thought let's skip the hell today.
Yeah.
That we are not talking about. We are talking about Lord Ram. Okay. So talking about Lord Ram, it has been described that within this tract of land known as a Jambudvip, there is this tract of land called the Bharatvarsh. So this Bharatvarsh is the last step. It has been described in the scriptures that if we have done a lot of piety in life, but there is something missing. Like, how you finish your project, but at last, because of, a timing or because of some technical word, you are unable to complete it. Everything is done. And you just go F7, save it and go to home. Almost everything is done. So like that, it has been described, those people who have done a lot of piety, but they could not come to the last step of final. Those type of great devotees take birth in Bharatvarsh. And everything, right from beginning of life, everything is designed in order to cultivate Krishna consciousness. So what is the concept in India? Right from birth, what are you taught? That your parents are actually who?
Like a god.
God. So you may know nobody in your life. You only know the parents. Isn't it? So we are taught right from beginning, see the manifestation of God within your parents. So right there from very beginning, now what is the concept of parents having a connection with God? How does it in line with parents being a God? First thing is what? Compassion. Isn't it? First thing is compassion. And anything that the parents do, don't see them being independent from God. Just think that this, what I am getting from my parents, is actually a gift of God. Because parents, the nature of parents is always caring. And nature of the parents is there is a saying, Chanakya Pandit says, you have two things. You choose what you want to protect. You break the cane, you build the child. You break the child, you save the cane. Do you understand this logic? आप लकड़ी को बचा लो, बच्चे को तोड़ो, ठीक है ना? बच्चे को बना लो, लकड़ी को तोड़ो. क्या चाहते हैं? Which one? Do you want to protect the cane and break the child, or you want to break the cane and protect the child?
Break the cane and protect the child.
So that's the logic right from beginning. So parents means hardship. Also, parents always is not means the child asks you, you give. That's not the condition. In that way, maybe you are protecting the cane and breaking the child. ठीक है ना? So logically, how does the niti of Krishna works? When we become so mischievous that Krishna does everything good for us, He does everything right for us. He gives the perfect family, He gives the perfect environment, He gives the perfect life of human form, and we mess up things. Then what does Krishna do? He's going to break the cane now. And what do the parents show? What are the qualities of the real parents? Strictness. What does Chanakya says? Lalane bahuvo dosha, tadane bahuvo gunaha, tasmat putram chasishyamsha tadayan natu lalayat. Lalane bahuvo dosha. What does lala means? It doesn't literally means kid. Lala means soft. Okay? Lala means the essence. Although the children are essence to the life. Okay? Lal also means a word of compassion, or somebody that needs your compassion. That's what means lala. Lala and tat. ये तात शब्द भी सुने हैं ना पहले. It means the same. जैसे कि tat also means a child. When the elderly parents use the term tat for little children, basically means, oh my beloved one. ठीक है ना? So Chanakya says, lalani bahuvo dosha, tadani bahuvo guna. Just see the deepness of their fault first. Lalani bahuvo dosha, how deep is it? How many mistakes are they making? And your chastisement with the child is going to be based on the type of mistake they make. If the mistake is soft, you have the policy of softness. If the mistake is hard, then your punishment is going to be hard. So this is the very quality when we understand कि भगवान अच्छे लोग को क्यों दंड देते हैं. एक पिता किसको दंड देगा? दूसरे का बच्चा को या अपना बच्चे को? कभी आपने अपने घर के पड़ोसी वाले को डांटा है आपने अभी तक? और आप ये साहस कर सकते हैं? यहाँ भी नहीं, कहीं भी नहीं. दूसरे वाले को नहीं डांट सकते. डांटेंगे तो अपने को डांटेंगे ना. तो इसलिए if Krishna is going to chastise, who is he going to chastise? The loved ones. So this is the niti of Krishna, and we all understand. So therefore we understand in India कि अपने parents में भगवान का स्वरूप देखो, but we are unable to analyze what it means actually. So right from beginning we are taught to understand that you make a mistake, your dad is going to chastise you. You make a mistake, Krishna is going to chastise you. That is going to be there. So right from beginning we are taught, right from the childhood, whenever we are unable to understand anything, nothing, we are taught indirectly how to surrender and listen to Krishna. This is a tract of land that Sri Sukadeva Goswami is talking about. Just like, what is another term he used? That Swayam Nishya Yasam Vidya Nabhaktya Gyaya Karmai Narati Rogino Chaiva Banchatopi Vishattama. That a well accomplished physician, a doctor, you go to see a doctor. Okay? So going to doctor means who goes to doctor? Sick? Yes, who go to doctor is the patients. So, who goes to the sadhu? Those people who understand. Sometimes the sickness, everyone has a sickness, but we don't find out in time. We don't find out. Everyone is sick. Nobody is healthy. Problem is, we don't find out in time. And by the time we find out, it's too Great. So, what is a sickness? We all have. We are all subject to repeated janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukha, dosha, anudarshanam. Krishna says the symptom of an intelligent man is that he sees a defect in these four things. The symptom of an intelligent man is he sees a defect in these four. What is this defect? There is a defect in birth. Yes? Mrityu, there is a defect in death also. Jara, there is defect in old age. And vyadhi, diseased. So, sometimes the problem of people is that they don't even see a defect. That is the biggest problem. There is a problem, but you don't see a defect. And some people who are able to see a defect, Krishna says he is the actual seer of the truth. Only when you see the defect, you will fix the defect. So, in Bharatvarsh, we are always taught of, like, in Bharat, when something negative comes, people are reminded, देखो, तुम ऐसा मत करो, पता है, ऐसा करने से उस घर में क्या हुआ था? Always pointing out a negative so that doesn't take place. And what is the condition of the sense gratification or the world that is going towards the sense gratification? अरे बुरा चीज, बीती हुई चीज का बात मत करो. Although it is because it is bad. Don't talk about bad thing, be positive. Yes, you can definitely be positive. But remembering the consequence of negative, you can be positive. Isn't it? Just like if somebody tells you a poison or says bish le lo, and you say nahi, पिछले बार last time somebody took this bish, he died. So they tell, no, don't talk about what happened to the last guy. You take it. Is it the right logic? So to understand the quality of a poison, it is important to understand what it caused in past first. Isn't it? So in this tract of land, I am just talking about Shukadev Goswami's part, just trying to make a practical. In this tract of land, we talk about the problem first. Isn't it? मरण का बात मत करो, ये बहुत जवान है. संन्यास का बात मत करो प्रभु जी, अभी तो शादी भी नहीं हुआ है. ये शादी से तब बच पाएगा, आप शादी से पहले संन्यास का बात करेंगे तो. शादी करने के बाद संन्यास के बाद क्या काम? कोई काम है? So the complete information that is needed for us to attain perfection is given in this tract of land called the Bharatvarsh. And it has been described that even Lord Indra, the inhabitants of heavenly planet, they are worried. He says, what is the use of our life? He said, we accumulated so many types of pious activities and we are simply enjoying in the heavenly planet, and soon everything is going to be zero for us. And we have nothing in life. So what do you want? You want a credit card with a limited fund on it, or you want a job that is more than enough to maintain your life with and is permanent? Which one do you want? Credit card with limited fund, or a job with unlimited fund and with unlimited timing of work? Do you understand the logic behind it? Which one do you want? Prabhuji, you want second or first one?
Me?
Yeah.
Second one.
The credit card that has you don't have to work with?
No.
So the question is now, do you want a heavenly planet with a credit card that you enjoy for a certain period of time, then Chine Punya Martaloka Vishanti, then you come down, or you want a prominent job which is being a devotee of Krishna with unlimited happiness in life, with a complete success? Which one?
Second.
So, do you want to be a King Indra or you want to be a devotee of Krishna here?
Devotee of Krishna.
Don't just tell before sake of saying.
No, preferably both.
Sorry? No, it doesn't. Both doesn't happen. If you get a credit card, you don't take the job. Don't treat Krishna with that. He's not going to allow you to do that. Okay? Don't tell Krishna that, I want to make a, castle house in the sand. I want to be inside that castle, and at the same time I want to have a house in Scottsdale. Not possible in two houses. Either you take a castle in the ocean, or you take a house in Scottsdale. And I don't know which one you want. And because it is easy to build a sand castle, you know that. You don't need any construction permit. So, according to Sri Sukadev Goswami, he says that is the reason why Bharatvarsh is very auspicious. Because you build a machine there and everything is in your hand. Then he says there are three types of people that live in Bharatvarsh also. People who are naturally subjected to the mode of ignorance, even within this tract of land. There are people which are totally ignorant. And what is the symptom of ignorance? When we say there are people in mode of ignorance living in that tract of land, what does it mean?
They don't follow scriptures.
They have no knowledge of Krishna.
They have no knowledge of Krishna, and they follow the principle called a Kaitav Dharma. You know what does Kaitav means? Cheating religion. So most of the people are being diverted. I mean, although India, Bharatvarsh offers everyone a perfect opportunity to attain Krishna, where is most of the cheating in the name of religion going on? In that same tract of land. Yes, just like, where do the people want to open the shops?
Near to the religious places.
No. Where do the people want to open dukan?
Where customers are there.
Where there is lot of public. So, where are the most of the public at?
Near temple.
सब्जी मंडी?
सब्जी मंडी,
इंडिया में
मिठाई,
सबसे क्राउड कहाँ होता है?
मिठाई की दुकान.
मिठाई की दुकान और सब्जी मंडी. मतलब अब आप इंडिया में ट्रैवल करेंगे तो यू विल फाइंड थ्री थिंग्स इन वन प्लेस. यू विल फाइंड अ मिठाई का दुकान, यू विल फाइंड अ सब्जी मंडी, एंड यू विल सी अ गोल्ड शॉप राइट देयर आल्सो.
Good shop.
Good. Right, you're right.
You will see these three things all connected together. Okay, we are talking about sabji mandi, that is Tamagur, and we are looking at the second part is the mithai ka dukan, that is called the Rajagun, and you are talking about the gold, that is the Satyagun. All these are mixed up. You understand? So more public means more advertisement, more business, and more stealing also. So whenever there is more public, सबसे ज़्यादा पॉकेट मार कहाँ होता है? दुकान, मिठाई की दुकान में या सब्जी मंडी में?
Subway.
सब्जी मंडी में होता है. तो you are expected, when there are so many opportunities, people in three modes of material nature, you will also see the sinful activities there. This is nature. So according to Sukadev Goswami, he said that there are people in the mode of Tamagun who think that because Bharatvarsh is a perfect tract of land, and because people are very nice by nature. Just like, you know, who are the most successful Indians in America? The Indians that get educated in India come to America and settle up here. They are more successful than the Indians, the children of the Indians who are born here.
First generation.
Am I right?
Yes.
You know why?
Foundation.
Spiritual.
No. There are two things. Education is there, but we have the spiritual foundation also. So therefore what we do, we connect the education along with the spiritual foundation and get everything perfect. And those who are born here, what happens?
They have
They forget the first part. The culture is not there properly. Therefore Krishna says two things he said. Na saucham, na pichacharo, na satyam te suvidyate. First thing, cleanliness. Pichachara, good behavior. And satyam, truthfulness. If these three things get together, then it makes a perfect society. So when we come from India, we bring a concept of respect along with us. Isn't it? I see that, like, you know, most of the Indians that come, the culture of, like, you know, America is that, you know, if you know somebody or his colleague working with you, either it is a man or a woman, they immediately come and hug you. No separate line. But the Indians who are, you know, perfectly, you know, brought up in India, they come here, when a lady comes to hug you, they will move behind. They'll keep the distance because there is this concept of culture still maintained. You understand? One closeness leads to another closeness. One loose talk leads to another loose talk. So you make a mistake for first time, there is no problem of you making a mistake in second time. So this type of concept of culture that is connected with the education. In the eyes of Krishna, who is the perfect educated person? In the eyes of Krishna, who does Krishna call the perfectly educated man? He says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmanye Kavihastini Sunnischaiva Sapakyesa Pandita Samadarshana.